Welcome to another episode of Attack of Opportunity. This is Jose, and with me as usual, Andrew.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah, I was taking a long rest because we're going to be talking about rest variants today. That was so bad. Don't use that.
Oh, let's just play the music.
No! Jose.
Season 2 of Attack of Opportunity. Do you ever think that this was going to happen?
No. I didn't think we were going to get... What? when you were like, oh, this is a season finale, I'm like, what the fuck is a season? Like, there's seasons for podcasts now?
Yeah, this is episode 1 of season 2.
I can't wait till we get to like season 6 when we have like a cliffhanger until season 7. I was like, who shot Jose? It was Andrew because he's the only other person that's on the podcast.
More intrigue, more plot twists.
Not really.
Better quality. Question mark?
Questionably better quality. I mean, better quote unquote quality.
Right.
So
better in the sense that Jose's English is getting better.
Yeah, it is. It's getting quite better.
I learn a new word every now and then.
Okay. All right.
Before we get started about rest, let's talk about our drink of choice for resting.
Well, I was about to say, you know what I like to have after a long rest, meaning in the morning, because I'm an alcoholic.
Andrew, we talked about this. Teresa asked me to reach out to you, man. You can't.
I'm in my disease state.
Oh my god, this is gonna be the whole fucking
episode. I have a problem.
Well, you can deal with that after the show. Let me talk about my beer.
Yeah, anyways, let's crack open these cold boys. All right. Yeah. What is your drink of choice today?
I am having a Stone Tangerine Express Hazy IPA.
Ooh, let me see it.
It's an orange can with a cool demon face on it and oranges in the background.
Stone is really awesome.
Really? I saw it and I was just like, this looks really nice. It's a tropical hazy IPA.
They had their Arrogant Bastard ale is really good and really strong. It's like one of the
really?
It's like one of the few beers that gave me whiskey face.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but they also had
they packaged you told me to look at the date on it, and they packaged this one a month ago.
Right.
How is that? No, 2 months ago. Sorry.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. They actually, that particular brewery, while you're drinking, or pouring it, I'll tell you this, but that particular brewery, they will come out with like a line of IPAs that it will have a date on it. Like, it's like, this is the hollow, like the 10, 30, 20, whatever edition. Like, do not drink it after this date because it's not going to be as good. Like,
really?
Drink it before this date. And it will be like IPA 10/30 2019 or whatever.
Well, it's funny because like the box for this one said like, make sure you check the date to, it said we have fresh and whatever the ingredients. Make sure you check the date.
Yep.
And drink it within whatever. It's like, it's on the side of the box. And I'm looking at the box after I opened it because I was putting the stuff in the fridge. And it's inside the flaps where the glue is. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help me, does it?
But I mean, they're usually pretty good about saying like, hey, you need to have this beer before this time.
Right. I mean, it's all over the can too.
Right.
Like, so, enjoy fresh.
Yeah. So if
10%
like
juice. No, I'm just kidding.
If it's like a month or two, that's fine. Like usually like the 6 month mark is when like they start to get a little flat, like in terms of taste. Yeah. So. Oh, that looks really good. It looks like orange juice.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's a nice. Okay. This one's a little more bitter than the last one I had. The last hazy I had. But I don't hate it. It has a nice citrusy aftertaste. Very refreshing.
Oh yeah. IPAs are once you like break into them and you get like the tropical ones. Oh my god, they're so good.
Well, we're in Florida, so let's go tropical.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
With a side of COVID-19. Anyways, what are you drinking, Andrew?
I am having, this is a completely new beer to me. I'm having a Terrabin Brew Luau. This is a passion fruit, orange, and guava IPA.
So we are going tropical today, huh?
We are going complete tropical. So it's not a hazy IPA. You can see through it because I'm a poser.
Wow, what a poser.
Because
I go all in.
Yeah, I'm an old man. I'm stuck in my ways. So. Hold on. Let me get a second taste on
I need to get some of those fancy glasses you have.
They're overrated.
I pour mine in one of these Stella Artois one I have, only because it seems appropriate instead of like a pint.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because I was by the way I don't know if I did it right, but like I'm not really getting a lot of the guava taste and stuff. It's very mellow. So yeah. Anyways, but before we moved, we got rid of all of our pint glasses, and now I'm like dying for a pint glass just because I forgot what it's like to go to a bar, and I would like to pretend one day.
I like to relive the good times.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you get rid of all of them? Should have kept at least one.
I don't know. I think it was probably like a case where Teresa's like, hey, do you want to keep all these like glasses? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, no, I'm good. And like,
yeah, I'm the same way.
In a box, like I didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
so, because
we're moving, we need new stuff anyways. Just fucking throw it away.
Because we had like two of those sets of beer glasses, like the 10 glass sets that like one like somebody got for my birthday one year, and then somebody got for Teresa's birthday next year. I'm like, what? And they were literally just collecting dust. Like I remember one time, I was like, okay, I'm going to use one of these glasses finally because, we got like a beer for it. And I had to like scrub the layer of dust out from the bottom of it because they were just sitting there. They weren't doing anything.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I was like, no, we don't need them. Oh, I took them to the Goodwill. I was like, here you go.
Oh, there you go. I mean, somebody's going to use them.
Yeah, these are your problem now. So
I got a few. I got the Stella Artois one. I forgot what they're called, like the little rose stem glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I have the pint. I have 4 pints because I found them on Home Goods and they're like super cheap, like $3 for like a 4-pack. And then I have my Guinness one, which I stole from a restaurant.
Gasp!
Gasp!
This is like gonna come back to haunt you, man.
I know, right? It's not even like it's not like the usual, like the one that looks like a pint, but it has like the logo in it.
Oh
no, this one has like it has a slight shape of the harp within the pint glass. Yeah, it's a really nice one.
I thought you were going to say it was like the Sam Adams one where it had like the weird bulge in the center.
No.
when it herniated its disc or something like that. But
damn, Samuel.
But I mean, like these glass, this glass is really only good for like an IPA. I feel like because like anything out of that, it's fine. Like as long to me, as long as you pour out an IPA, like don't drink it straight from the can. Because there's like something, it does affect the taste for me that way, but other than that, they're just overrated. It's just the glass. At the end of the day, a solo cup kind of does the same thing for me. So,
wow.
I mean, it does as long as I pour it into something. So,
I mean, it just airs it out, right? That's what
pretty
it does.
much. Yeah, as long as it aerates it. So,
anyways. So we're not here for beer, even though it's been 30 minutes.
Kind of. More like 10.
Yeah. Today we're talking about actually you introduce this because I'm jumping in blind. I know I know the normal or the overview, like the big picture, like what it means. I just don't know the details.
Okay, so we are gonna touch on what low fantasy versus high fantasy means, but that's gonna be kind of, I said this before to you, but this is gonna be kind of like the garnish for the meat and potatoes. That is the actual like meat and potatoes of this discussion, which is the rest variance. That's going to be in Chapter 9, specifically page 267. Now, as we all know, in 5e particularly, it's a bit of a power fantasy. Like it's a very cinematic, like action movie kind of experience.
You're already the hero.
Exactly. And so if you want to like recoup a little bit, let's say you're in combat and like stereotypical action movie thing. You got shot and there's like arrows sticking you. You know, you can take a short rest, pull the arrow out, you know, grit your teeth and just like have like the wound like up.
Yeah.
or if it's something that's like, oh man, whew, we saved the day. All right, time to get 8 hours of sleep. And I'm refreshed. You know, like kind of a deal.
If you think about it, that's the most fantasy thing about the game. Getting a straight 8 hours of sleep. Getting
a straight 8 hours of sleep and being totally fine when you wake up. Everything's okay.
Like, everything else I can sort of believe is true.
I would love if there was like a system where it's like, oh, you slept in a wrong position. You lose like 5 feet of speed because your hips all kind of like wonky and stuff.
You slept on your arm for too long.
Yep, you gain disadvantage on ability checks for like the next minute because it's like still waking up.
We've all been there.
Anyways, so these, like I said, chapter 9. It's just under the rest variants, and I'm gonna read these because it's like that much text, but to me it completely changes everything about how balance and like encounters and like spells and abilities work in 5e. So, here we go. The rules for short and long rest presented in Chapter 8 of the Player's Handbook work well for a heroic-style campaign. Characters can go toe-to-toe with deadly foes, take damage to within an inch of their lives, yet still be ready to fight for the next day. If this approach doesn't fit your campaign, consider the following variants. The first one, Epic Heroism. This variant uses a short rest of 5 minutes and a long rest of 1 hour. This change makes combat more routine since characters can easily recover from every battle. You might want to make combat encounters more difficult to compensate. Spellcasters using the system can afford to burn through spell slots quickly, especially at higher levels. Consider allowing spellcasters to restore expended spell slots equal to only half their maximum spell slots, rounded down, at the end of the long rest until limit spell slots restored to 5th or lower. Only a full 8-hour rest will allow spellcasters to restore all spell slots and to regain spell slots for 6th level or higher. Now, that one seems more blasty, obviously, like kick down the door, you know, like epic heroism. This is the one I like. Gritty. Well, I mean, yeah. Gritty realism. This variant uses a short rest of 8 hours and a long rest of 7 days. This puts the brake on the campaign, requiring the players to carefully judge the benefits and drawback of combat. Characters can't afford to engage in too many battles in a row, and all adventuring requires careful planning. This approach encourages the players to spend time out of the dungeon. It's a good option for campaigns that emphasize intrigue, politics, and interactions among other NPCs, in which combat is rare or something to be avoided rather than rushed into. 7 days.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of like we've been reading a lot about Call of Cthulhu and how like battles are deadly and it's like better to avoid them, and how like you need 7 days to recuperate from like a gunshot.
Right.
So it's a little bit more onto that taste of RPG.
Right. And the reason why gritty realism appeals more to me is because, like, as much as I love 5e, specifically the modules are very like go.
Yeah.
You know, like there's really like the cities, or at least the ones that I've read and are familiar with, the cities are kind of bare bone. That's by design so that the DM can fill in the gaps and that kind of stuff. But it is really like you sort of get the idea that they don't intend the players to spend a lot of time in town. Like, right. And I mean, and to put it in perspective, like Curse of Strahd, for instance, you guys have been in Barovia for like, I think a week. Like, I mean, realistically, I think it's been like maybe a little over a week, like 10 days at maximum. But and so for me, like the epic heroism, it honestly doesn't really appeal to me that much because you know, you're talking about option 1, right? Like the one with the I mean, it sounds cool for like a very short one-off where you don't want to spend time like resting too much or whatever, but it feels like cheat codes. Yeah, that legitimate. Yeah, exactly. It feels like cheat codes. It feels like something that would be like you have a group that's very action oriented, or you're just maybe you just want to get a new guy in there and just kind of like, you know, like action packed sort of a thing. But like a long rest. Oh my god!
Here we go. Sorry, Heather.
Burp counter. That's like
no, that's like the fourth one, dude.
Was it?
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, the first one doesn't really appeal to me too terribly much, but the second one like opens up for me a ton of possibilities. Because I mean, it really does kind of make you want to like put the brakes on things, and this would be really great. I wouldn't say this would be great for a modular adventure. I can see this being an absolute train wreck for any published adventure because like you guys get in a bad scuffle and oh crap, we have to spend a week inside this dungeon to recoup. You know. But I mean, for like a homebrew adventure or something like that, I would personally very much enjoy playing a gritty realism game.
So let me ask you this, because in the right now, like just the regular stuff, it's because D&D is very much like hit things and action, and like role playing kind of takes or heavy role playing kind of takes a step back sometimes. Actually, a lot of the times, especially for our group. Mm-hmm. With the gritty realism rules, right? Let's say they get into a fight, they get badly injured, they need 7 days to recuperate. How would you incorporate that into the game?
So what
so to keep the players engaged. Sorry.
Well, I'm actually glad you asked that, because so I think if you were to just be like, okay, 7 days passed and it's a long rest, like what difference does that make when you just say it's a night? Right. However, there are other rules in the DMG that they can like kind of fill time with. Specifically, the entirety of Chapter 6, which you're going to have to, if you're at Chapter 9, you got to flip back through all the treasure like I'm currently doing. But then you go to Chapter 6, and it's a whole thing of just between adventures, like what you do between adventures, and so you can just use this entire thing to kind of fill in that gap of time. So like, okay, let's say you go into a dungeon, you're like level, I don't know, 2, 3, just like, you know, kind of baby adventurers right now. What the fuck? Yeah, I got something white on my shirt. Anyway, I was like, so you guys are like level 2 or 3 or something like that, and you had a really rough encounter with like a troll, and it didn't get everybody, but it beat like the crap out of your fighter because he's the frontline guy. So yeah, right. he got smacked around a lot. He's gonna be resting and recuperating because, you know, like, I don't know, maybe he got like a cracked rib or something like that. So during that time, and it doesn't have to be like the whole session, but it can be something like, hey, while we're waiting for like our fighter to get back up to snuff, like, can we do some things? And as a DM, like, absolutely. Because there are rules like downtime activities, like carousing, like we're back in town. The fighter's in the ICU. Like, we're gonna visit him every now and then, but I you know,
we'll bring some chocolates and flowers.
Yeah, we'll get something from the gift shop that's like really overpriced. but it's like, okay, so meanwhile, while you're around town, like, roll me a D100. Okay, you got this, and you've made a modest winning from gambling and recuperate your lifestyle expenses for the time spent carousing. Woo! Or, you know, if you roll badly, you pissed off the wrong person while gambling, and now
you're in the ICU with the fighter.
or like the local gang wants you for like counting cards or something. There's a dog in the background. Or like the local gang wants you for like counting cards or something like that. So now you, as like the bard or the rogue or whatever the mischief maker of the group would be, now you have to deal with that. Like, get the rest of the group, like, while the fighter is, you know, with his paper skin and glass bones, like sitting in the hospital bed. The rest of the group's like, hey, I know that we're kind of like a little low on spell slots right now, but I'm in a bit of trouble. You know? so and then like the wizard's like, nah, man, I only got like one spell slot left, but the ranger's like, yeah, you know what, let's do it, man, let's take care of this. And so then like, you know, you have like a buddy cop thing where they go and fight the you know,
I can dig that, but let me ask you this then, like, how about the fighter player?
That I am not entirely sure. You know, that's honest. That's the only drawback I can think of. I mean, but that was in the scenario where the fighter is the one that like goes down to 0. But it could be. Let's like rewind and let's just say they did beat the troll, but everyone's kind of like a little roughed up. Not bad, you know, but like their resources are spent, their abilities are kind of gone for the day. So then they, you know, but then they go back to town. But the fighter, for whatever reason, the fighter has like a business. Like,
okay.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, like I don't know, maybe he runs a tavern on the side or some crap like that.
Hey man, freaking that's what's his name from the Yawning Portal.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't remember his name either. But yeah, no, or not even that. Maybe he has like a small like mercenary company of like 3 or 4 people that go out and do like quote unquote protection work. Right. You know, but then you can roll a D100 and say, hey, how's my business been doing these, you know, couple of days? So like, oh, you know, something happened, so you know you're gonna have to like deal with it, kind of a thing. Or you can train. Like, you can use this time to train and get proficiencies and stuff that you're not proficient with. Because remember, the rest rules change to where it's 8 hours for a short rest and 7 days for a long rest, but the proficiency rules don't. So you can use that time to be like, I'm going to use this 7 days. 7 days, and I think it's like, what, 7 gold per day to gain proficiency and blah, blah, blah. And like, okay, and then as a DM, you can like knock off 7 days and gain their proficiency. I don't know what a fighter would need to be proficient in because they're already like they already know what they're good at and they stick with it. But you never know. But the thing I really like about it, the gritty realism, is that it does incorporate a lot of planning. Like there is, you know, like it's not, you can't just blindly go into that cave anymore, you know, because hey, we thought there was kobolds in here, but there's a slime, or like a ooze. Sorry, there's an ooze in here, and that's gonna completely change everything. Like now when we go and rest, we're gonna have to like get armor, buy armor. You know.
Well, like I see why you like it, and I see some parts of it that I want that I feel like should be applied to just a regular game. Mm-hmm. My fear is that the 7 day rest will just come down to rolls of the table 7 times for each player.
It could be that that all really comes down to the DM. You know, I mean,
but that's fine. But like, let's say that they want to do like not necessarily a side quest, but just something, right? And then the DM, I'm just in a scenario putting out here, and the DM is like running them through. They're trying to find the raw minerals to make a new set of armor because the cleric got the ooze on them, right? So they go out, and then to make that event a little bit more entertaining and engaging, you might want to do an encounter, right? A small encounter. You plan a small encounter, and just because it's the roll of the die, it goes to shit. And yes, they got the stuff for the armor, but now they also need like other things and more rest. Like, does it become a dangerous loop of just like more rest because they're so fucked up because of all the in-between things in the 7 days from the original long rest?
Personally, I would just say, okay, that I think that comes down to the DM. I would say, okay, the 7 day period is going to be your long rest. Mm-hmm. Anything that happens between that time is fine. Just know that you still have not gained the benefit of that long rest until the 7 days are up. Like the encounter session before that, where, you know, if I was to be like a real like stickler for the rules, I'd be like, oh nope, there's a random encounter that happened while you guys had a long rest. Your long rest is broken. Now you have to take another 8 hours. But I was like, okay, just do the encounter, once you get past the encounter, you haven't gained the benefits yet, but once you get past the encounter, then you will have the benefits of a long rest. Just kind of like a little bit extra to kind of feel like you have to like reach that finish line kind of a thing.
Right.
I would not be stringing people along. That feels like an antagonistic thing. Like I to me, that would just be like, okay, if you want to do things while you are in this rest period, you can, but do keep in mind, like, you're not going to be getting your spell slots back by the end of the day, like, or your HP. So, you know, plan it out. You know, just be a little bit more careful.
I like that idea. I like the idea of players having more consequences or harsher consequences for going in somewhere blinding or not blinding their encounter, not planning their infiltration. What I'm not sure about, and that's just because it's me, and I'm one of those guys who are like, just like, I just want to move on to the story.
Right.
I don't know how I will feel in like, okay, now we got to role play 7 days of rest.
Well, I mean, you don't even have to like role play. If that is up to like a sort of like a group synergy thing. I mean, obviously this would all be taken care of in session 0. You know, like it's like, hey, I'm going to be using the gritty realism rules for this campaign, but as a DM, it's kind of your responsibility to like come up with things that would keep people engaged during that 7 days. Right. And I would.
Hey, and while we were in Vallaki, you know, that was pretty entertaining. Back in Waterdeep, when you guys were exploring the city, that was entertaining. So like, I can see that happening. I can see that being like the entertaining part of like, oh, look at all these interesting sites and stores and NPCs that we're gonna stumble upon.
Right.
Which I dig. I really do. Personally, as a player, I think I will really enjoy those role-playing parts.
Mm-hmm.
I think it again, like it's like you said, I think it has to be like a session 1 type of situation, session 0 type of situation. It's like, hey guys, don't expect to just jump into the dungeon and start like kicking the shit out of everybody. Like, it's gonna be harsher. I just wish there was like a little bit harsher consequences to not going in blind. Because right now, in all reality, with Strahd, we're going into his freaking castle and we're blind, you know. But it's fun. Like we're just kicking the shit out of everything and trying to touch all the things and like trigger all the traps, whatever. But I wish there was like a. I wish, and I don't, because.
Well, like I said, I think that's because 5e plays into the power fantasy thing. Like like because I'm gonna sound like an old man here, but here we go. But like
when done, you sound like an old man.
Shut up. but like I got into D&D because I was like, wow, my character can like die right now because I made one mistake, like kind of a thing. Like, so it really caused me to like think and like, okay, I have to be like kind of 2 steps ahead of like the enemy, kind of a deal, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying 5e robs me of that, but it does make your characters into superheroes, you know? And that's fine. It appeals to a lot of people. It appeals to me too. I'm not saying it's bad. But it is like a kind of a scenario where you guys just kind of kick down the door and like, ha ha ha, ching 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 ching, and just fight and just fight your way through the castle. And meanwhile, like Strahd's like, curses and stuff like that. So and that's totally fine. That's why they have these variant rules. But if you do want something a little bit more like toned down and a little bit more slower, because I'm the kind of guy I appreciate like slowness. I don't know. It's a weird way to describe it, but like if I ever say
you and I both like we enjoy slow burn movies, you know, like
if I say something's a slow burn, that means it's good.
Yeah. We don't mean that as in like a bad way at all.
Right. And it does say in like the paragraphs like gritty realism's more for combat. Epic heroism's more for combat. Gritty realism is more for like role playing and politics and stuff like that. So it could be a situation just throw it out to the group. You know, hey, would you guys like to play like my Game of Thrones of inspired seasons 1 through 6 Game of Thrones inspired game where like there's a lot of political lots of layers of politics and like you dealing with like the mechanics and like gears of like this kingdom instead of like going out and slaying baddies all the time. Like there will be fights, but the fights will be much more grounded and have like realer consequences, kind of a thing. And might appeal to some people. That certainly appeals to me. I sold myself on that pitch as I was saying it.
Are you starting to plan one already?
No. But I mean, and that, and or it could be something like, hey, maybe the group is kind of burnt out on, like, maybe they have like a sort of like a weird superhero fatigue, kind of a thing, and maybe they just want to like have a game where like they feel like their characters can be built up and like take some time and have like some actual like realistic character development, like during this time. Like, during those 7 days, that would be the time for the DM to dig in the backstory and be like, hey, this orphan rogue naturally, like, this orphan rogue, like, finds, like, a lead that leads to their mom, and their mom turned out to be, like, some sort of adventurer that, went and, like, did this thing and MacGuffin, or, kind of a deal. Or, what you can do is, like, you can, if you really want to, like, say you don't have the time to make your own adventure, but you want to take a modular published adventure and kind of stretch it out, you can kind of do that. There are certain adventures I would say no to. The first thing I thought of when I read this was this would have been great for Dragonized, because we have a business, like we have a whole business. We could have used that 7 days to be like, hey, let's hire some contractors to get this neon sign up and stuff like that. And, there's a lot of things about it that appeal to me where like you have a lot more time to develop your characters and a lot more time for the world to kind of sink in, because like we said before, we saw maybe 1% of Waterdeep in that entire adventure,
Yeah.
And even though you guys like fully explored Vallaki, you didn't explore all of it, and there was still a whole other village you guys haven't gone to in Strahd, and you probably won't at this point, and that's fine. But
maybe we will. You don't know. Maybe we'll just get out the back door next session. And
hey, you know what? This castle's not it's all cracked out to be.
Yeah, it's weird decorations. It's kind of like, gloomy in here. I'm just gonna go.
I'm not feeling it. The feng shui is throwing me off. No, but I mean, it's just I can kind of see this being like a much more, like, weirdly enough, a more stress-free like adventure. And
I think if everybody's down for it, I will be down for it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to like try to give like a one shot to that or something, just to see how it like plays out. Because like at the end of the day, like I feel like our group wouldn't really know if they like it until they try it. And they'll tell you, and they'll tell you straight up if they like it.
It'll definitely take like it. The only way to do it is to do it. Like, so
yeah.
But like another idea is that this kind of also gives like the DM like time to, like, weirdly enough, it gives a DM time to come up with things, because like what's it? I was watching a Matt Colville video, and how he DMs is a lot more different than, well, not a lot more different, but more different than how we DM. And so what he'll do is that he kind of follows the sort of gritty realism rules a bit, where like his players will go out, have an adventure, come back to town, and then be like, okay, that's where we're going to end it for the day. We'll play again next week. During that week, he will like ask players, or players will ask him like, hey, can I do this while we're like because to him, like, real world time is actually what's happening in the game. So, a week passes.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
So a week passes here, so a week passes there as well.
Yeah.
And so he'll ask his players, or his players will ask him, hey, can I do this, blah blah blah, kind of a thing. And like one of the more noticeable ones was that one of his players was like, hey, I'm gonna go investigate this amulet that I found like in the cave. And it's like, okay, this amulet, you attune to it and it has a voice and it tells you to free me at the bottom of this tomb, kind of a thing. And turns out it's like a long since imprisoned god or some shit like that. And like, oh, I accidentally freed the big bad evil guy of this campaign. So week one is something, and week two is something entirely different, because in between that time things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, I'm into it.
One of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I like, I'm digging it. I'm down for that. I would, I don't know.
I wouldn't run it myself only because I don't have the time to be coming up with.
No, I know.
I'm a very module based DM,
But I mean, but that also kind of like it. To me, it brings a little bit more. What I feel like it brings a little bit more balance to the game, because 5e to me feels very combat heavy.
It is.
Yeah,
especially with our group.
Yeah. So then when it's like, okay, we're finally gonna go out of town and go into this ancient or this lost temple or some crap like that and fight the baddies. So then the rest of the group's like, yes, let's do this thing. Like, I've been sharpening my weapons and preparing my spells and stuff like that. And that would also, for like specifically going back to the wizard, that in the whole week, if, the gold they find and stuff like that, they can be copying spells over, or the warlock can be like talking to their patron, or maybe the paladin messed up his oath, and during that week he can have like a redemption kind of a deal, or I mean, it's different. It's a little bit more outside the box than I feel like a lot of people would want to do, but I'm down for. I would very much like to see a game ran like that.
It definitely sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, just because I know myself as a DM, it'll be really hard for me to run something like that. Just because.
Right.
I'm like, oh, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Here's the baddies. Let's go get them.
Well,
I know my limits.
Well, this would have to be something. This would have to be something that it's gonna be a lot of dedicated work on the DM side, because they're either gonna have to almost completely change a module, or just run a homebrew game and just
true.
Oh no, random tables.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you first started talking about it, like the first thing I went into my head is just like homebrew. Just your own personal campaign, and then that's what you want to run it.
Because there's not a lot of slower paced adventures that are published. And and that leans into like I said, the power fantasy, because that's what 5e is. 5e is a power fantasy.
Yeah.
Like you guys get like these like unnatural powers by like level 9 and stuff like that.
Yeah, we lost our strength though, but that's fine.
Oh, you guys will live. Boo hoo! I don't have my +7 strength modifier anymore. But but like going back to that, I think it would also be really neat to incorporate a lot of the other variants of rules and stuff like that, like the healing rules that are right above the rest variants, where it's like, okay, you have healing surges, which was something that was in 4e. That would probably be more suited for epic heroism, because it's literally just a guy going like, and then like his wounds heal up.
Is the first person shooter when the screen starts fading into black, and then you just like take cover and then
and the guy's like for a second
breathing really
hard. But then you have like slow natural healing, which is essentially just like the 3.5 rules. But then you have healer kit dependency, which there's an item not a lot of people know in 5e called the healer kit. And the reason why nobody knows is because fuck it, 8 hours of sleep can do the same thing. Yeah. But it says if you want to regain your hit dice back, you have to use a charge of the healer kit first. So all of a sudden, like, oh crap, there's only 5 charges. We have 6 people. Sorry, man. So I mean, it's just to me, it just opened up a lot of ideas. So like, just.
Do you think you will incorporate it anytime soon on anything?
Right now, no. Because I think our group in particular is riding pretty high on the tempo, kind of the pace that we're going at right now. I think maybe many years down the road, when like people's like like when there's going to be a want of like a bit of change, and maybe like the published adventures start to dry up a bit, You know,
I don't know, man. I think when I run Call of Cthulhu, they're gonna be like, nope, I hate this. That's the fuck.
You know, you say that, but it's. Well, no, never mind. I was gonna say I love it, but here I am saying, like, let's take a week off. You know? So, you know what?
Because you like it, I like it. I think they're gonna be like, wait, what? I can't just hit this guy in the face.
I would imagine there would probably be an itchy trigger finger in the group somewhere.
Oh yeah.
That's like,
I mean, even though you weren't that, like, you also, like, you played it almost like a happy itchy trigger.
I asked you, who's the guy with the gun? I want that guy.
And I'm like, all right, you're never gonna use it, but sure enough.
And sure enough, I never used it. So,
by the way, the gun only had like 7 bullets too. Like, that was it.
Well,
6 bullets because it was a revolver.
Well, you only need one.
There's not like unlimited ammo or anything. It's just like, that's all you get. Sorry.
You only need one. So, but
and it's for your own head.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, hey, you know what? I've seen enough.
That's Call of Cthulhu, everyone.
Pretty much. No, I'm. Oh, hold on. I had a train of thought. I lost it. Oh no, but this would be like something like maybe they found something like in the dungeon. And they're like, oh, who wrote this note to like this group of bandits? Oh, you'll have to find out during the week, blah blah. You know, so I mean, like I said, it all depends on your DM. Your DM's gonna have to be the one. It's gonna rely a lot of work on your DM, and your DM's gonna have to be the kind of guy that wants to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah, I mean, I think I would like it. I mean, if I don't run it, if I'm just a player in it. I think I will like it, but
because it raises the stakes, like, of everything. You know?
I mean, right now the only thing we have to worry about is like, man, Vesemir's taking a lot of hits opening all these doors.
No, that's fine. 8 hours sleep up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Just sleep enough, man. Sleep enough. You'll be fine.
But I think that would be a really good idea for like that heist idea that we were talking about, where it's like your group goes out, does a heist, and we're talking about an actual heist, not this like water deep dragon heist crap where the heist already happened.
Terrible name for that fucking adventure.
Anyways, where it's like, you know, there's like every now and then there's a heist, so you have to take that time to set up, prepare, and then you gather your resources and you wait for that one moment when it all might come to fruition, and then the rest of the time, like the rest of that week, you're like maybe setting up for the next heist, but you're also resting, recuperating, kind of a thing. That would actually be pretty great for that. Now that I think about it, I might incorporate that.
Yeah, no, for real, because like it's one of those things. Like if shit hits the fan, it could make it even better too. Because like you for real cannot just like fight all the security guards or whatever. You have to like.
I mean,
run.
you can try, and it could be something where like one dice roll could be a life or death situation.
Yeah.
So, ooh, yeah, that's great. What the
Sorry
fuck
about
is that in the background?
What are you doing? She was getting her headphones.
Oh, okay. She could have just walked over. She didn't have to. Whatever. Maybe like some weird Dr. Seuss character back there. No, I mean it really does. Or like, you know, like you're in a castle and you're spying on the king or something like that, and your rogue has like done a really good job like putting on the makeup kit and stuff like that. Oh, but haha, the like one of the I don't fucking know. One of the people in the court like suspects something.
Hand of the king.
Yeah, exactly. So like, oh shit! It all comes down to this one deception roll because there's no fucking way I'm gonna fight my way out of this. So I mean, like I said, there's things to. You know,
I like that part of it. I like that part.
Yeah.
Of it. I think maybe there's a better way to balance it out in a regular adventure. So like,
I mean. It's the slowest of slow burns.
Yeah.
You know, because like level 1's gonna be misery.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna come out there and say it. Level 1's gonna be bad for everybody involved.
Just kill the rats in the sewers. Come back out of the sewers all fucked up. Okay, we need a week's rest.
There was a dire rat in there. You didn't say
how many dire rats do you fight?
One.
Jesus Christ. We lost our fighter. He gave his life for us.
Just cut back to like a wave of Francis just enveloping the fighter and stuff like that while he's like swinging a sword. And someone's like, Steve, no!
Yeah.
And the cleric's like, he's already dead.
Yeah. The fighter, just live without me. Make it out.
Just go. While he's cutting a rats. But that would be memorable.
You die because of a swarm of rats. Beautiful.
I mean, if you really want to raise the stakes some more, I would probably say like have like diseases and like lycanthropy and stuff like that. Like have like a little bit more like sterner rules on that. Like, you know, if you really want to crank up the difficulty on that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just like I said, it's just a neat little thought experiment.
I dig it.
Just the fighter. They're eating me.
He has a gun with a bullet for some reason, and then the gun misfires.
And now the rogue has PTSD. So now you have to roll the madness list for him.
Yeah.
because he saw the fighter get eaten alive. See, there's ideas.
Because the fighter rescued him, and that's why he died.
Yeah,
so he has guilt remorse. I mean, what is it? Survivor's remorse.
Yeah, Survivor's Guilt.
Survivor's Guilt.
because the rogue messed up on one stealth check. And he's like, dude, if I had just rolled a 16 instead of 15, man, it'd still be here if it weren't for me. Why him, not me, man? And now he's drinking and getting into trouble and stuff like that. See, there's ideas here. That's stupid, but there's ideas.
I want to see this happen. Let's do this.
And then the fighter's brother Speeve shows up. He's like, "Yeah, I'm Steve's younger brother. He told me all about you guys, so you don't have to introduce yourselves."
we keep pretty steady correspondence. I know everything about it that's been happening. We talk almost every day.
I would like you to call me Steve in honor of Steve. I'm just saying that would be awesome. I would be 100% down for
oh man, I feel like that's one thing too. Like I feel like people need to be so scared. They need to stop being so scared of dying in D&D.
I mean, I understand the first death is always the hardest. It really is, because nobody wants to lose in D&D. You know, but I mean, for someone like me particularly, I might be the exception, not the rule, because I have like a fucking backlog of characters that I want to use.
I'm always ready, boss.
But I'm like, if my character dies, at least make it look good, make it
worth it.
Yeah, make it cinematic. Make it a good story moment. And then I'm just gonna break out my Dragonborn Paladin that's been gathering dust for this entire time.
And now he's level 10, so there's that.
For some reason. So no, we could talk about death on another episode, because I don't think that's all it's as bad as people make it out to be.
But talking about death, do you have any like campaign highlights or session highlights?
Wow, I thought we were going to talk about low fantasy and high fantasy. But it's okay.
No, dude. No, fuck that shit. It's been like an hour already.
No,
get your thoughts out.
No, this is boring. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Oh, campaign highlights. I'll be honest with you. The last session, the only real highlight I have to say was Cyrus.
Do you want to explain to our listeners what happened to Cyrus? Or who Cyrus is?
Okay, so Cyrus Bellevue is a character that's in Curse of Strahd. He's in Castle Ravenloft, and he's like this weird the term they use is mongrel folk, because he's like half man, half creature kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Not a lycanthrope, but like something else entirely. And so he's like this weird like beast man thing. He's got like claws coming out of places that claws shouldn't be coming out of. But he's also insane. Like straight up nuts. Like cuckoo bananas. And he was supposed to lead the characters somewhere, but I got confused on the map. And I just role played it to where he didn't know where he was going. So he just kept walking around in circles until eventually, like, everyone's like, all right, let's just fucking kill this guy.
No.
I know. But that's when things came to a head when the cleric's like, all right, let's just kill this dude. So then I'm like, wait, I know where we're supposed to go. I remember now. I actually did remember. And it was back down the hallway you guys came, where you already set off a trap that didn't affect anybody, but you set off a trap, and it made this pit in the ground, and he just walks in the pit because he's crazy. He doesn't know where he's going, and he just falls in the pit. And someone's like, "Wait, I want I forgot exactly what it was." But it was like, it's like, yeah, I want to use a strength check to get him back. Okay, you fail your strength check. He slips from your grip and he just falls and dies. But then when he goes like, wait, I want to use his dexterity check to take the thing that's off his back.
Before he fell, everybody just looted the crap out.
And it wasn't even worth it. It was a box that had a drawing in it.
Yeah. And then Vesemir looks at it, opens the box, sees that there's a shitty drawing of him and Strahd, and then just throws it down the same hole that he found.
Yeah, just, well, that wasn't worth it. Just throws it on top of the corpse.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. That was bad. Oh, man.
That whole session was just... Vesemir got split up the last session before that. So, like, for me in the beginning, like, my character is just known to just, like, he wants to explore everything, touch everything, like, trigger all the things. So he was in prison. The whole group was just like, this is just, the game just put you in timeout, man.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, everybody just walked past that freaking fire thing, and that was, like, the fire spell with the balls, with the colored spheres.
Oh, yeah, the big brazier thing.
Yeah, and, like, because I can see this, obviously, because I'm the player. But, like, I couldn't say anything because I wasn't there, but I'm like, please just touch it. Just grab one of the spheres and throw it in there. See what happens.
Just see what it does. Just for science.
And then I'm in a prison, and then out of nowhere, Strahd just shows up. And he's like, he wants me to give him my blade, but my sword, which is
and you're like, yeah, I'll give you this fucking blade.
Like, stab him in the chest. Which triggers in initiative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, it's all happening, and I saw your face. You were like, "Yes, I got Vesemir this time," and I'm like, Andrew was like so freaking like ready to like, I don't know what the hell he was gonna do to Vesemir, and then my turn passes. Strahd, I think, was the last one, but then like, everybody else's turn goes by, and they're like in a different part of the dungeon, but they're getting closer to me. And then I'm reading my Blood Hunter PDF because I keep forgetting some of the stuff that he can do. And I fucking have ethereal step, which I forgot I had. I could have gotten out of that prison cell like 20 minutes earlier.
Yeah, you could have been like, oh, okay.
Right through. So like before like Strahd gets a chance to fucking like stab me or do whatever he was gonna kill me, I just like disappear and just run past him, run out of the cell. While screaming past the party, and then just kind of stuff like, oh, here you guys are.
So
I saw the face of defeat on Andrew, and I was like, damn it!
No.
This time.
No. It wasn't. Dude, come on. It was like I have you cornered now.
Yeah.
Like no, it wasn't gonna be anything like that.
Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah, I wanted.
Nope. Vesemir apparently is known for two things: falling for every trap and running away.
because I can't explain why I did that yet, but there is a reason why. So,
oh, really? That wasn't planned? That wasn't like a part of the story?
No, but there is a reason. Well, I mean, it kind of is and it kind of isn't. Like I said, I can't really explain why right now, but there is a reason why that thing happened. So, yeah. So, nice. Yeah.
Yes, those are session highlights.
Yeah, remember,
so we go live every Wednesday.
Yeah. Stay off Wednesday. We need the bandwidth.
Yeah, we need the bandwidth, please. If anybody's listening to us.
And another thing about Cyrus, that the only person that liked him was Howard. And Howard's like, no, don't kill him, no.
And then didn't Tilaxia try to rescue him when he fell?
Yeah.
And it was like, I just imagined that scene from The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. When Stacy dies.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I imagined. And now Tilaxia has PTSD.
And Cyrus snaps his neck from the force down.
Oh, poor Cyrus.
I mean, yeah.
Oh man,
he was a thing. It happened. So
now let's talk about some news. Do you have anything you want to share with the class?
Hi, my name is Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. Don't be shy. Come on.
I don't want to be up here.
Why was that everybody's like biggest fear? Like,
because Christ. It sucks. I hate
looking back at it. It's so silly compared to everything else.
Are you kidding me? If I have to stand up in front of a bunch of people and say things, no. I hate that.
You're a DM.
Yeah, and you know how much I had to like. Do you know how nervous I was before that first session? like I was like the entire day before. I was like, okay, I gotta fucking nail this. Like I can't. Like I have to. Okay, hold on. What if they do this? Oh no, if they do that, I have to do this. Wait, what if they don't even like go in this direction? Like kind of a thing. I'm like, and then after the first session, I'm like, these people hate me.
Andrew, I'm gonna tell you a secret, okay? Here's my secret to not fucking lose it before the first session.
Just don't care?
Yeah, you say fuck it. This guy should be lucky to have me DMing.
So I mean, like it was just an anxiety thing, and now it's like. Now it's like Teresa's like, don't you have to play in 50 minutes? And I'm like sitting there like a bowl of Cheetos, like on my stomach. Like, yeah, it's fine. Like, not prepping for anything.
The true DM way.
Okay, so getting back on topic. So a couple weeks back, I was looking up Rime of the Frost Maiden, again, obviously. I wanted to see if it was like going to be like on Amazon or something like that, because I wanted to like pre-order it, but I didn't want to like go out to a brick and mortar store because that's gross right now. Yeah. So I just want to see if I can order it. And this one adventure popped up called the Mythic Odysseys of Theros. And I'm like, what? And it said it was coming out like July 21st, I believe is when it's to be expected. Am I correct on that? Yeah, July 21st. And I'm like, what? What's that? And so I clicked on it, and what really piqued my so I read it was like a Magic the Gathering thing, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm not a Magic the Gathering fan. Just not. That's just not my cup of tea. However, I also read it's supposed to be their take on Greek mythology, and that did pique my interest. Because anything that has to do with like mythology is like 100% my book. Because like Jose said before, we're still currently working on it. we're working on a Viking adventure, kind of the same way like George R.R. Martin is supposedly working on Winds of Winter. He says he's writing it,
but is he really?
Yeah, maybe if he stops like watching fucking football games and writing stuff for Elden Ring, maybe he can finally. Nobody wants the fucking Wikipedia on Westeros. We want the next book. Okay,
that's never coming out. You should know
It's not. I've already given up on that. I'm like, he's gonna be dead before these books come. And then what's his name? Brandon Sanderson's gonna have to finish the books for him or something like that. I'm like,
he's gonna go to the last page and just be like, the end. Done.
That's good. Oh no!
It's gonna be the season 8 of the books.
Yeah, just watch that. Just watch that seasons 7 and 8. That's how it turns out. Like, oh no. Anyway, what's west of Westeros? Shut up. Okay, so anyways, getting back on topic again. But yeah, anything that has to do with like mythology, I'm totally down for. And I would love to have like an adventure that's based on like every sort of like main mythology, like, you know, Greek, Roman, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like maybe like African, like too, like the weirder ones, like Egyptian stuff like that. So I did a little bit of digging into this. There's not a whole lot to pull up from this, from what I understand, but it is like it does say it is their take on Greek mythology. There's going to be some new subclasses. They said the two particular ones. It's going to be the Bard College of Eloquence, Masters of Oratory, and the Paladin's Oath of Glory. There's going to be some new races, like a satyr and a leonin. I have no idea what a leonin is. I'm assuming it's some kind of lion because it has the word Leo in it. But the one thing that really interested me is that they said, more or less, the gods are petty and they commonly get involved with mortal affairs.
Yep, that is Greek mythology all the way.
Which, I mean, in 5e, the gods are like on high and they don't really do anything unless you do really good on like your what's the cleric ability? Divine intervention. But like, no, here in Theros, they're like, I mean, like Greek mythology. Like,
there's a god. There's a god who's just having sex with everything.
Zeus.
Yeah.
and like you don't pay you like there's this bum asking for gold and you're like, ah, fuck you, bum. Oh no, it was the god of agriculture or something like that. No!
Something completely unrelated.
Zeus.
What is this half human, half tree person doing here? Zeus! Stop fucking everything!
God.
There needs to be a god of spray bottle. Every time Zeus starts getting a little too hot with anything, it's spray.
The god of cold showers.
Yeah. Zeus, no! We already have enough of that.
No. Stop it. Quit turning into other animals. And then fucking said animals. Stop it.
You don't need to talk about anything, guys. I mean, Zeus. Come on.
But I mean, I just really that's all I just wanted to touch on. It's like, you know, hey, Greek mythology, cool. I'm down for that. I might, like, if I see it in store, I might skim through it. I don't know if I'd pick it up or anything like that, but I just kind of felt like this sort of got lost under the wave of Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Yeah. Well, not really, because it was announced way back.
It was. And it was just...
It's just one of those things that, like, for me, like, I work at Cool Stuff, and I had to do like the ads and all that stuff for it.
Right.
But I just like looked at it, and I'm like, oh, it's just Theros, because at the same time, Theros was coming out, which is the Magic set for that, and I'm like, yeah, like art is cool, but I tried to get into Magic, it's not my thing. And when I saw that it was just another Magic crossover thing with D&D, I was just like, that's fine. It's probably another Ravnica.
Right. But you could new classes, potentially new monsters, I would imagine. I mean,
yeah, probably.
You know, so
I don't think Ravnica had that many things other than like the guilds from the Ravnica lore, whatever the fuck it is called.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of different guilds and they're all fight within each other or whatever. Something like that. But this one seems better because it has actual monsters and gods and weapons and subclasses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, like I said, not I don't really care that it's a Magic the Gathering thing. It's more the if it was literally anything other than Greek mythology, I would not, like, this would not even be a blip on my radar.
What if it was Christian mythology?
we actually had this discussion because you know, no, because I was like, I want to make like a short adventure for every like major mythology, you know, kind of thing. And you were like, oh, what about Christianity? And then I made a joke where, haha, Christianity's not a mythology. but then like at the end of the day, I'm like, no, it's really boring.
Yeah. Like, there needs to be a Japanese developer, because it has to be a Japanese developer who makes some like crazy ass anime action JRPG with like all the different saints from the Catholic Church.
I guarantee you there's probably something already like that.
I wouldn't even be surprised, actually.
Given how fast and loose they are with like the Judeo-Christian like ideology. Where it's like, God's the bad guy. Haha, Jesus was a Super Saiyan or some shit.
Right?
Man. No, it just
I mean, if you do get the book though, let me know how it is. I mean, I'll probably add it to my collection whenever.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I might, because I mean, I wouldn't. It's not obviously at the top of my list. Yeah. But like I said, if I see it in the store and I thumb through it and I kind of like it, then I might pick it up. So I mean, I just thought it was interesting, you know. So, the one thing that did kind of bother me is that apparently this ruffled plenty of feathers of like older generation people, where we're like, oh, Wizards of the Coast doesn't even care about older settings, and then immediately came out with the news for Icewind Dale.
Yeah.
Which is a setting I forgot was a D&D setting.
Yeah, I think Wizards of the Coast is just trying to cross sell, that's all.
I mean, it's fifth edition.
If they could get the people who play Magic into Dungeons and Dragons,
and vice versa.
I mean, they wouldn't even like ship a block into how much money they make out of Magic.
Yeah.
But, like Magic, even if it's like 10% of Magic people into D&D, that's a lot of money, man.
Oh yeah, and 5e has been selling gangbusters by comparison to the other, like hotcakes, you know. So I mean, this is all like, look, I know we all want Spelljammer or whatever, or like Dark Sun, but it is also a business at the end of the day. You know, so like
talking about business though, I got down to business this week.
To defeat the Huns?
The nuns.
Oh.
No, I was playing The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay, so.
This is your official spoiler warning.
Yep. Before we go any
considering that all 4 people who watch / listens to us and play it, they're probably never going to listen to this. But we're going to let it out of our system.
So, before we go any further, if you want to avoid spoilers, stop.
Yes.
Just stop the podcast right now. Roll the outro music.
we're live every Wednesday. Follow us on Instagram. All that mumble jumble.
So yeah, no, because we're going to be getting into Last of Us 2 spoilers because there's a discussion there. So okay.